be surprised how many women complain that their boys won't spank them.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so let's say tying up, something like that. Okay, so you mean as the guy, you would like to do this and you want to introduce it to the girl?
You want to spice things up, and your girl is not about it. Like, how could you actually make her warm up?
Well, how do you know she's not about it? Like, because we're in a hypothetical.
Let's say you said it didn't work. Like, I'm just thinking about myself 10 years ago.
Okay.
And that's why I was in a situation that I wanted something more.
Yeah.
And my girl wasn't about it. So I just basically asking this question on behalf of the people who are going through this now.
Sure. Well, I think, and I don't know that situation obviously, but a lot of women are not about it until they're about it, right? So often, like I remember this in my 20s, trying to like do something with my girlfriend. She's like, oh, I don't know, I don't really want to do that. And I'm like, oh, she's so frigid. Like, and it was really that she didn't feel safe with me because I didn't know what I was doing, and I was trying to push to do it because I wanted to do it. Right? And she got that sense that it's like he wants to do this thing to me, and it's rushed, and he's trying to, push my boundaries or like plead or something that's not sexy. And as a result, she's like, I don't feel like I want to do that, right? And like you could say that with, like, for example, girls giving head. Like some girls, they just don't want to give head to particular guys, whereas with other guys, they will deep throat and gag on it, right? It's not because they don't like blowjobs. It's because the way that was presented, either in some kind of like beta kind of pleading way or some too rough and aggressive and not paying attention to her kind of way, means that she's like, I don't want to do this. I don't feel turned on. This doesn't feel right for me. Whereas, like I'm typically with partners who have never really experienced any of this, or very little of it. Like, let's say outside of, a spanking or the one boyfriend who did choke her or something like that, right? So I don't usually play with kinksters. And I have it all the time where a girl who's never done anything, by the end of the night, has done everything. Not because like I rushed it or because I like convinced her or did something to like make her do it, right? It's that just in this example here, we just, in a small way, started to fulfill a lifetime fantasy that apparently no other guy had the ability or thought to. I mean, obviously, I'm a pro or whatever, but like had the nous to be able to like figure out how to communicate that with her, or her to be able to communicate it with him. So therefore, it never ever happens, right? Whereas like we just met and she feels totally comfortable, I think.
Yeah.
Good. With what went down, right? And so in a way, it feels like the most natural, normal thing to do. Like, it's not, maybe it didn't even, although it's probably kind of interesting and exciting, it didn't feel like something way wild or like, I can't believe I'm doing this.
No, it was very calm.
Right.
Yeah.
So you see where I'm kind of going with this? Like,
so you're like, the way you present it is important.
Yeah.
You like being relaxed in it is important. Being suggestive about it is important. So I'm just looking at it from a practical point of view.
Everything I'm saying is super practical.
Of course, but like, just to simplify it, let's say. So
Yeah.
do you like plant the seed, or you like, hey, I have this crazy idea, let's do it? Like, how do you actually like present that?
Many different ways. So there'd be all sorts of ways. Like, okay, where we watch, like you say, what's your favorite type of porn? And she says, I don't watch porn. You say, shut up. Yes, you do. Right? And then she's like, I like, just girl on girl lesbian. I'm like, and then, so I'm like, I know, because the vibe is, I know that you're a freak, that we're all freaks in a way. And I might be wrong, actually. Okay, there are certainly asexual people, and there are people who just, it's not. And if you meet a girl who is like I'm not going to date that girl, personally. No disrespect to her, but I find out that she like, I remember I had one partner not that long ago who I went to spin around. She says, I don't do doggy. And in my head I said, this will be the last time we see each other. Because I'm like, and I'm not angry at her or whatever. I'm sad for her, actually, right? Because I'm like, okay, well, you're missing basically half the options. And so, okay, I've certainly met women along the way who are just like hard no on like kissing during sex or any kind of oral sex, on either side, right? And these kinds of things. And of course, okay, I respect the boundary on that. For me personally, that will be the end of the, I'm not going to be rude about it, but whatever we do, and then it'll be the end of it. If that kind of, okay, I have had some longer term partners where they had blocks around certain things. Okay, I can think of like giving blowjobs because she really felt in an internalized position that this is degrading to women, right? To be on your knees sucking a dick is just degrading, full stop, right? When you can see,
Sounds like she got it all wrong.
Of course she got over it, but I didn't like do something to convince her. Like I talked to her about it, and I found out, okay, so you like all sorts of, you are pretty kinky. You like all these different things, and there's this one thing that you seem to have a really hard no on. Can you tell me more about what's going on? And so we had a discussion, and I get it. Like I can see that position, right? She's like da da da. And I said I can see how you can how it could totally be perceived in that way. I'm standing above you. You're on my knees. It's kind of like a servant. It's all men want to do this and objectify women in this particular way. I get it, right? Like there's a legitimate concern there. And if I'm like, come on, don't be a fucking pussy. I licked your pussy. I'm on my knees. What's the difference, right? No. Then she's shut. Then she's like, you're not the guy. And now I definitely don't want to give you head, right? Whereas it's like the empathy of understanding. Okay, I can see where this comes from, and then talk about it in terms of reframing it. It's like, okay, well, would there be, if it's about that you feel like you've lost power here, would there be, if I was, for example, lying on the bed, and even if I had my hands tied, for example, and then you got to take my cock, right, and be the one that's like the active person, would that change things? And indeed, that was the thing that changed things, right? So, look, I have to talk like this because, and you're not the only person that asks questions like this. I get asked them all day, every day, which is like, what's the exact steps that I take to do something? Whether it's meeting a girl on the street or something. And I can tell you exact steps, but I'd rather we have a deeper conversation here, which is like, because that's not really the answer. Yeah, there's all sorts of steps, but then guys go, oh, okay, I do that when she does this, and I do that when it does this, and that's wrong because it's more like a spider web of possibilities. And really, like, what makes a man a great seducer is being able to have actual empathy and try to put yourself inside the body and mind of a woman as best you can, and think about what is it like for her to be picked up by me? What is it like for her to be fucked by me? All right? Okay, I'm not going to ever really get to experience it, and I'm not submissive, and I'm not a woman, so I don't really understand, but I'll try, right? And from that, and that's when women start seeing that kind of thing, then of course she's going to trust you. Of course she wants to, not necessarily she wants to do X, but like she's going to be way more open to exploring something if you come at it from that kind of frame as opposed to, okay, how do I get her to do the thing?